How could something so little be so destructive? Let me introduce you to the bull ant. 90% bull, 10%. Okay, I'm being dramatic, but I do have a point here. Not really. I just want to rant about how obnoxious these guys are. This might not sound huge, but considering they're ants, they can grow to like 1.5 inches, which is pretty. Never mind. These ants, just like all other ants, can lift about 15 times their weight and withstand extreme pressure, so one step might not do the job. You know exactly where they can be found. You guessed it, Australia. Bull ants are extremely aggressive. They're known for hunting larger animals, and they have no problem biting humans. Plus, they're venomous, and their venom is potent. If you just so happen to be allergic to their venom, you could die in like 15 minutes. But in all honesty, I just wanted to rant about these crazy ants, and as always, man, peace and love, baby. So what we're looking at today is a frilled lizard, and of course, you guessed it, they're from Australia. They're some of the largest species coming from the dragon family, and yes, there is a whole group of lizards called dragons. They grow to about 3 feet long from head to tail and weigh a pound. So you're probably thinking, what's going on with their face, right? This is a tactic that they use when they feel threatened. They'll open up their frill to almost 1 foot wide, and it's supposed to scare off predators, which doesn't always work. But luckily for these lizards, they have what we like to call zoomies. These little guys can run 30 miles an hour. I'm talking DJ Dallas on a punt return speed. Now, they're not necessarily dangerous, but they do have a painful bite. I'm not saying you have to run like that dude in the beginning of the video, but you should probably still just leave him alone. And as always, guys, peace and love, baby. That is literally one of the last things you'd want to touch in the ocean. What we're looking at here is a blue-ringed octopus, which just so happens to be one of the most venomous marine animals in the world. This tiny little hand-sized octopus contains a very potent neurotoxin called tetrodotoxin. Tiny little octopus holds enough venom to take out 20 adults in minutes. One of the biggest issues with their venomous bite is the actual bite, because you probably won't even feel it. But once it kicks in, it can cause muscle numbness, nausea, loss of sight, and loss of motor skill. And then after all that, you can also pass away. So just remember, rule number 1, don't touch bright colored animals. And as always, guys, peace and love, baby. This is probably the last place you'd want to run into a kangaroo. When kangaroos feel threatened, they instinctually run to the nearest body of water. They'll stand a little over chest deep. They lure their predators into the water to drown them. Yes, predators, not prey. Predators. One of their biggest predators are dingoes, which means they pretty much see all dogs as a problem. But this practice is not limited to just dingoes, so if you ever want to press your luck with one of these kangaroos, don't be my guest. Also, did you know the eastern gray kangaroo is almost 7 feet tall, which is pretty normal, but they can run 30 miles an hour and jump 25 feet long? Not high, they can jump 6 feet high, which is crazy, but 25 feet long. Anyways, keep your butt away from kangaroos, and as always, man, peace and love, baby. Here is what the most dangerous bird in the world sounds like. Meet the cassowary, the deadliest bird in the world. New bottle, by the way. These birds grow to 6 feet tall, run 30 miles an hour, and of course, they're from Australia. That booming sound they make is used for 2 reasons: to attract mates and intimidate competition. And I promise you do not want to be categorized as their competition. Mainly because of these. They're equipped with 5-inch claws on each foot. And for some reason, they can jump like 7 feet in the air. So do with this information what you may. And as always, peace and love, baby. Platypus are top 5 most confusing animals in the world. They literally don't make sense. And you could probably guess where they come from. Australia, which is basically the Florida of the animal kingdom. For starters, they're mammals that lay eggs, which is extremely unusual. Platypus and echidna are the only 2 mammals that lay eggs. They have bills like a duck and webbed feet like a duck. They're kind of shaped like beavers, but also walk like reptiles. But their bills are a little different than ducks because they can sense electricity like a shark. They use that sixth sense to forage for prey in rivers that they live by. Males have this spur on the back of their feet that are poisonous, and if it injects a human, it hurts for months. Like most mammals, mothers produce milk, but these don't have nipples, so they kind of just sweat it out. And if you didn't know, they're also secret agents. And it's always been peace and love, baby. This fish alone can give you 4 to 5 good reasons why you should keep your behind off the seafloor. By the way, this is a stargazer fish, and we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about it. These fish bury themselves kind of like this and then wait for prey to pass by and then ambush attack. As you can see right here, they have very sharp teeth and it takes them less than 1/10 of a second to attack. But I promise that's not even the worst of it, because these fish are venomous and electric. They have 2 venomous back spines and can also produce a 50-volt electric shock. And if that's not enough, they can produce a pulse that's right under the human hearing barrier, but still strong enough to stun their prey. So as you've probably guessed by now, these fish go straight on my nothing to play with list. It's time I introduced you to a very cute but extremely confusing animal. The echidna is out of control. I just don't understand them. They're mammals, but they also lay eggs. Platypus are the only other mammals that do this. They have a very good sense of smell, but their snout also has other special powers. Their snouts have unique cells that are sensitive to electromagnetic signals that are given off by pretty much all living things that they use to eat ants. They grow to about 1.5 feet long, but inside those snouts is a 6-inch long tongue. These walking spikes of confusion are expected to live about 10 years, but can also live to be like 40 years old. They also don't have stomachs, and their mating process is just different. It includes dungeons, 4-headed monsters, and a train that can only fit 6 males. And it's always been peace and love, baby. Yep, that's real. Those fish were shooting water arrows at a bug accurately. They're called archer fish for obvious reasons. There's about a dozen species, and all are either found in South Asia or, of course, North Australia. Anyways, this is how they hunt for prey outside of the water. They press down their tongues on this little groove inside their mouths, aim, close their gills, and shoot, causing pretty much any insect that they hit to drop into the water. It's just amazing to me how accurate they are, because if you've ever been underwater and tried to look at something that's not underwater, it's crazy. And it's always been peace and love. Let me introduce you to the happiest animal in the world, the quokka. They're marsupials, which mean they're related to animals like kangaroos. These guys are pretty small. They're about the size of cats and weigh about 10 pounds. Live in Australia, which is usually crazy, but they live on this specific island which has become very popular, which is pretty much now called Quokka Island, and a lot of people go there and take selfies with them. And this is where all the cute facts stop. Turns out quokka's motherly instincts aren't always so motherly. When a pregnant mother feels threatened by predators like dingoes, she'll kind of eject the baby in order to scramble away. And I know that sounds bad, but yeah, that's pretty bad. They usually have control of their pouch muscles, but when they feel threatened, they'll release the muscle so the baby kind of just falls out and takes the fall for it. That's all the time I got for today, and as always, man, peace and love, baby.